Yo, what's up? Today I'm talking about the 5 proven flirting strategies that work. All right, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and hit the notification button because I'm dropping a video every day. All right, 5 proven flirting strategies that work. So first of all, I want to give a shout out and thanks to one of my subscribers, Giappolo MTL. I believe he's from Montreal, so that's cool. Bonus points for you, man, because my home city is in Ottawa, Canada, which is just like an hour and a half drive away. For those of you that don't know, Montreal is one of the cities in Quebec, which is the province or state. That's the French-speaking part of Canada. So I love Montreal. I've been there many, many times. So I moved to Atlanta 1 year ago, and the timing of this request couldn't be better because I have been on 8 first dates. That's right, 8 first dates in the last 3 weeks. So yes, I am an absolute dating machine if I choose. Sometimes I get exhausted. I'm just like, you know what? I'm done with these dates, and I go on a purification run or whatever. So listen, man, I have to say it's been way easier for me to date now at my age than it was in my 20s. Like, whoa. I've been on hundreds of dates in the last 2 years. I've been single for 2 years, and I was married before for 20 years. So going from that, from marriage, basically I was with her for 22 years to now single at my age. I had to learn a lot, like relearn a lot, really look in the mirror about myself. And that's why I was motivated and inspired to create this YouTube channel, because I was like, shit, how many dudes that are relationship kind of gurus have actually A, been married, B, been married that long, and 3, still now single, right? After that many years. And damn, I've learned a lot. And I created this channel to share all these things with you. So without further ado, the 5 things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the 5 things right away in case you want to leave or stick around and I go into very specific details on all those 5 things, because I get annoyed just like you with other YouTubers that make you wait until the freaking end of the video until that last thing, right? So I'll give you the 5 right now. You can decide if you want to stay or not. So number 1, you need to find things in common. Number 2, oh, by the way, this video is specifically for the first date. Everything rides on that first date. You're not getting a second date if you don't get that first date absolutely perfect. And there's a lot that leads up to the first date. But so this video, in terms of flirting and teasing, is all around the first date because you want to get to date number 2. So number 1 is you need to find things in common. Number 2, you need to make her laugh. Number 3, you need to have great eye contact. And I'll explain the eye contact thing because there's more to that than what I'm just saying right now. Number 4, you need to talk about kinks. That's an advanced tactic, so stick around to hear about that one. And then number 5, of course, is touching. Again, that's a subtle one, and it's an advanced tactic on your first date. So I'll repeat the 5. So find things in common, and I'm looking at my notes. Laughter, eye contact, kinks, and touch. So if you want to stick around, great, because I'm going to explain each one of those. So number 1, find things in common. Okay, this is so important, and ignore these women that criticize you for the age gap in your relationship. And they'll say, duh, what would you have in common with a 20-year-old? Like, I'm like, you idiot. You have tons of things in common. You don't have to have a generational thing in common. And it frustrates me when I hear this. Basically, by the way, guys, it's usually coming from older women, and they're jealous. They're jealous that you are going out with younger women, because I've heard this so many times. What do you have in common with a 20-year-old? What do you have in common with a 25-year-old, a 30-year-old, whatever? I'm like, we find a lot in common. So for example, I've met a lot of friends here in Atlanta, and one of my friends is a dude who lives in this building. He's 27. And you're probably thinking, Silver Bachelor, why would you have guy friends that are 27? Well, shit. I met this guy at a mixer in the building, because this is where I live. If you want to see the entire building, check out my apartment tour video. So Met him at a mixer, and shit, he likes whiskey. He likes science fiction movies. He likes DJs. He likes EDM, on and on and on. And I'm like, damn, this guy's fucking cool. So we go out probably once a week hanging out, right? So it's the same with women. But I'm going to give you this tip. With women, to find things in common, ask them these questions. And I use this acronym so I don't forget when I'm on a first date. The acronym is this: FFW. FFW stands for family, fun, and work. Family, fun, and work. So if you ask them questions around their family, so what's your background? Where's your family from? Around what they like to do for fun. What do they want to do for fun? What do they do for work? And all these things. So for example, I work for an Italian company and their head office is near Venice. Pretty freaking cool city, right? So I will ask her, so what do you like to do for fun? Most women are obsessed with traveling. They want to see the world. And so I'll ask her, say, hey, well, have you ever been to Venice? And she'll say no, most likely. And then so now we can start to talk about, we have travel in common. So that's what I mean about you have to, in order for the bond to start, you have to have things in common. That is number one. Before there could be any flirting, before there could be any sexual tension. Now, obviously, the higher she's attracted to you sexually, then you can skip steps. But let's assume she's still unsure, okay? Because by the way, women find 80%, this is sad, women find 80% of men unattractive. Shit. So, dude, that means 20% of the men out there are getting 80% of the women, okay? So you have to level up your game and be very, very aware of these things. So number one is find things in common. Number two, laughter. If you haven't seen any interviews with Richard Brent, British guy, comedian, holy shit. This guy is probably the master of flirting. I've never seen somebody flirt like this guy ever before. And he can have a woman sit beside him, across from him, that's interviewing him, whatever, and he's always flirting with the women, and the women absolutely love it. So one of the ways he does that is he gets them laughing. How do you get a woman laughing? Well, one of the ways is you could tease her a little bit. So for example, you're at a restaurant, or so you're at a restaurant and she orders a meal or she orders a drink, right? And I'll give you a perfect example. So a few weeks ago, I'm at this restaurant, and the woman beside me, and she was pretty attractive. She was with a group of people, and they were waiting for a table. So I didn't have the opportunity to have more of a conversation and ask her out because she was kind of in a rush. So she orders this drink called the Cosmopolitan Bomb, or the Atomic Bomb, Cosmopolitan Atomic Bomb, or something like this. So she gets the drink, and it's in this little dainty girly glass, right? And I look over to her and I say, I couldn't help but overhear that you ordered the atomic bomb. And she said, yes. And I said, that is a very underwhelming atomic bomb. I've never seen something so fragile. And that is not a scary thing, looking scary thing at all. And then so she goes, yeah, you're right. It's kind of girly. So this is what I mean, guys. You have to get her laughing, tease her a little bit, poke fun. Like for example, if you see her shoes and she's wearing heels, oh my God, I love heels. And you're like, wow, those heels look awesome. I would ask to try them on, but I'm not a size 12. She'll look at you like, what? Were you saying I have big feet? Because women are not size 12s typically. They're like 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, right? So this is what I mean. You just find things to tease them a little bit, poke fun at them, not in an insulting way, but in a gentle way, and get them laughing, okay? So number 3 is eye contact, but I need to explain this one. Eye contact isn't just the eyes, but you definitely need to make sure you're constantly looking at her eyes, right? If you feel that she is comfortable with you, she's attracted to you, you can now start looking at her lips. Okay, she will get a little self-conscious because she'll notice, wait a minute, he's not actually looking at my eyes, he's looking at something else, but they like that. Now, again, this is an advanced tactic. They like it only if they're attracted to you, okay? So, but that attraction can form more the more comfortable she is. You have things in common and she's laughing. You see what I mean? So I call that the runway strategy, where you have to build up, they have to work up to the plane being in the air, or her being now sexual, having this high sexual desire for you. So you look at her lips, and then a little few minutes later, you can start to look at her neck periodically, right? You're focusing on this area of her. Now, eventually, again, you have to read the situation. If she's comfortable, then eventually you can look down at her breasts, just a little bit. But if she's wearing a short top, you can actually poke fun at that. You can have some fun with this and tease. So Richard Branson, God, this guy is seriously, you got to check him out, man. He can get, he can use sexual innuendos so early in the conversation, and he gets women laughing. And so this is what I've done before. I'm attracted to her, right? And I'm working my way down, and I look at her breasts, and I pause there for a moment, and I look back at her and say, oh, it's just, yeah, I'm distracted. She'll start laughing. She'll be like, what? I'll say, well, you look really good, and that top is a little distracting, but I like it. So that's what I mean. And she will laugh. She'll get a little shy, and that's what you want to do. Okay. So that's eye contact. Number 4, and now I'm getting into some advanced things. Excuse me. Number 4 is you definitely want to bring up kinks. Not always on the first date, but if it's going well and you feel the vibe, right? So this is how I bring up a kink. So one of my kinks is I like to play with ripped jeans, like the holes, with my fingers. I just like to put my fingers in between the holes, right? So if she's wearing ripped jeans, this is perfect if this happens. She's wearing ripped jeans, and I will sometimes look down, and she'll notice me keep looking at her leg, and I'll say, you know what, I can't help it, but I really like your jeans. And I have a confession. She'll say, what's that? And I'll say, well, I have a kink. And she'll say, okay, what's the kink? And I'll say, well, I like to play with the holes when women wear ripped jeans. And it's been very hard for me to not put my fingers in the holes of your jeans. She'll laugh, right? And I'll say, and I have a bunch of other kinks, but I don't want to get into that right now. So you see what I just did? Now she's curious. She's like, what? Hold on, don't leave me hanging. Women hate to wait. They hate it. So then it opens up the door for you to say, okay, fine, I'll share one of my other kinks. And I will say, like, I like to play with hair. I have a thing with hair. And then I'll leave it at that. And she'll say, oh, so you like to pull hair? And I said, well, I like to pull hair, but I like to play with hair. Like, put my fingers, I have this thing with textures in my fingers, which is true. And with the holes or with the silky hair and running my hands through. So what she's now she's imagining you doing that to her. She's imagining your fingers in her holes in her jeans. She's imagining your fingers running through her hair. Now, then you can say, ask her. So without getting, you could say, hey, I want this to be PG, okay? And you're teasing her, right? By saying that. And then you ask her, well, what are some of your kinks? But keep it PG. So then she'll share the kinks. Now her sexual desire is getting very high for you, okay? Last is touch. The touch is, so, how do I explain this one? Okay, this is my style. My style is I can tell if she's sexually attracted to me by if she touches me in any way at all on the first date. This is just me, I usually don't go in and touch her first because women can get very turned off by touchy guys. However, they're not turned off if she's the one who touches first and you touch her back. So you can have fun with this. So on the first date, typically, if she's into me, she will guaranteed she will touch me. She will touch me on the shoulder or the arm when she's laughing about something. She's like, ah, that's so funny. And I'm being a little effeminate right now, just to make a point. I'm putting myself in the dates, trying to pretend I'm her, okay? All right, anyways, so she'll go, hey, that's so funny. And she'll touch your arm. That's an amazing sign, guys. Pay attention to that. and it will continue. She'll keep touching you. So then you can do the same thing back to her, and you could touch her shoulder and say, "Oh, that's funny," and say, "Well, I figured it was okay for me to touch you back because you touched me first." And she will laugh. She'll go, "Oh my God," right? So the touching, here's something else I do. Once she touches me, I touch her back on the shoulder, whatever. Then I know now she's given me an invitation to touch her a little bit and be affectionate. So one of the things I will always do is I'll notice her hands, and I'll say, "My God, I love what you did with your nails." And I'll reach out to grab her, to hold her hand. I'll have her hand in my hand, and I'll look at her nails, and I'll play with her nails a little bit and say, "Wow, you have really sexy hands." Something like this. So again, runway strategy. You need to take things in slow steps. So you start with, like I said, you start with things in common, you start with laughter, you have eye contact, you have a discussion about kinks if the opportunity is there. If not, don't worry about it. And then the touching, subtle touching. So you touch her shoulder, eventually her hand, and then how I touch the leg is I do this. So again, assuming the date's going well, you have some touching on the hand and all that stuff, and I'll say, "Damn," I'll look over and I'll touch her leg just a little bit, and I'll say, "Do you work out? Because you have great legs." That's how I touch the leg. So in the first date, that's basically the only things I do, is because I want there to be ideally a good night kiss, or if not, ideally a second date. And if she's sexually attracted to you, sometimes what will happen is that second date, it's actually second part two of date number one, and she wants to go back to your place. But that's for another video. So hope you like these tips. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is there anything that you guys do that maybe I've missed? Let me also, because I mentioned Giappolo MTL gave me this video suggestion. So drop a comment if there's a specific topic you'd like me to cover in the next video. And thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.